What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Vampires, directed by John Carpenter, starring James Woods. Alright, let's waste no time. Let's get right into it. Overall, I really liked Vampires. I thought this was a fun action horror movie. What I like about Vampires is that it feels like a movie, it feels like something John Carpenter would have made after he did Escape from New York, like this neo-Western horror type of movie with a supernatural element. And that's what Vampires is to me. This movie feels like Escape from New York, only with vampires. And I find it to be a lot of fun. Now, I don't think this movie is on the same level as Escape from New York. That movie is much, much better. But I do think that, but when compared to movies like Prince of Darkness and In the Mouth of Madness, I think Vampires is one of the better movies of the John Carpenter era of the 90s. James Woods stars as Jack Crow, who is the leader of a group of vampire hunters. I thought James Woods, as the lead character, was really, really good in this movie. I like his personality. I like his character. He's got a little bit of intrigue for him. The reason why he became a vampire hunter was because a vampire killed both his parents, and in so doing so, he was forced to kill his parents after they turned, and then he was pretty much recruited by the Catholic Church to be their monster slayer. I think the character of Crow had a very unique and interesting backstory. And if this movie would have had actual real sequels with Jack Crow as an ongoing character, you could have explored that a lot more than what this film set up. Because I think there's still a lot of mystery to the Jack Crow character. But for the way this movie presents him, I thought James Woods was a lot of fun in this movie. I like the chemistry that he has with Daniel Baldwin, who plays Mount Montoya, who's like his right-hand man. I don't think these two share enough scenes together. That's just me personally. But the scenes that they do have, the screen time that they do have, I like them a lot. The majority of Jack Crow's screen time is with this young preacher named Gitu. If I said his name wrong, I'm sorry. He's pretty much been high. This young priest has been told by his superiors to kind of keep a close eye on Jack Crow, and it kind of sort of becomes like a road movie with Jack Crow and this young preacher. At first they don't really get along, and Jack and Crow is very suspicious of him. But as the movie progresses, they start to form a real bond with one another and start to grow a fondness for one another. And I like that. I enjoyed that immensely. I think it would have been better as a trio if the Montoya character was with them for most of the movie instead of him being in his own little thing with this girl named Katrina, who he's trying to protect, as she was bitten by the lead vampire Valak, and now she kind of has a psychic link to him. That's pretty much where the Montoya character spends the bulk of his time, is with this Katrina character. And I think the movie subtly starts to develop a romance between the two. I mean, at first it starts off really, really bad, especially when Katrina bites his arm and he slowly starts to, Montoya's arm that is, and he slowly starts to turn into a vampire. And I think throughout the entire movie, Montoya tries to hide the fact that, he's been bitten. That whole subplot was okay. It was decent for what it was. I would not have done it, to be honest with you. I think this movie could have gotten much more mileage if Crow, Montoya, and the young preacher were doing the road trip hunting together instead of them doing their own separate things. That's just how I felt about it. I think you could have gotten more. You could have got some more comedic mileage out of it and more entertaining action scenes out of it. But for what this movie presents, okay, it's not bad. The overall villain in this movie, Valak, who plays the lead vampire, he's okay. I didn't really find him to be much of a threatening presence, to be honest with you. Despite the fact that he looks like Glenn Danzig, I thought the actor who played Valak was alright. He didn't have no commanding presence. I never really bought him as a threat. I found his underlings, his goons, more of a threat than he was. And he's supposed to be this immortal vampire, whose whole thing is that he's looking for this ancient cross that can give him immortality. That's the MacGuffin. That's the MacGuffin plot of the story. Like I said, the lead vampire villain was not memorable whatsoever. Kind of forgettable. Didn't really think he had enough presence for me to really buy him as a threat. I don't even think he has enough scenes to really establish him as a threat. That's just me personally. But that is what it is. The overall direction by John Carpenter in this movie is fantastic. I thought John Carpenter did a great job with this movie. His direction in this movie, to me, is very akin to how he directed Escape from New York. Only he did have and this movie is no different. It's good. Got good action beat. You got good suspense. You got good atmosphere. Carpenter really creates like this Western horror type of atmosphere with this movie, with his direction, and it works really, really well. The cinematography by Gary Kabibi, oh man, this is a beautifully shot, beautiful looking movie. So many good landscape shots. Like the New Mexico location that this movie takes place in really gives this movie a unique type of feel to it, and really gives it like a beautiful, just foreboding atmosphere as well. I love the technical side of this movie. It's beautiful. The action sequences I thought were really cool. With the best one pretty much being the opening, pretty much being the first 20 minutes of the movie, where Jack Crow and his team go into this house that is a vampire nest, and they slaughter everyone in there. That was a lot of fun. And I'm not gonna lie, even though I criticized the villain of Valak, his introduction scene did set him up really, really well, where he pretty much locates Crow and his team, and he slaughters almost every single one of them, along with a bunch of prostitutes. And then he bites the Katrina character. This is what gives Katrina the psychic link to the Valak characters, so that Crow can use her to find him and kill him. Like, Valak's introduction scene is cool in all its glory, in all its gory glory. I just think that afterwards, he never quite lived up to the potential that he could have had. But his intro was cool. And the opening prologue of the movie is also cool as well. I think we should have gotten maybe one more scene of Jack and his team going on vampire hunting before killing them off so early. That's just me personally. But I do love the ending in this movie when Crow does, find out that Montoya has been bitten. But because he and Montoya are good friends, he gives him and Katrina a 2-day start, but he does promise to kill him overall. And then the movie pretty much sets up, Crow and the young preacher as the new twosome vampire hunter. So, again, that stuff I like. That was pretty cool. So yeah, all in all, I had a lot of fun with vampires. I think this is a really good John Carpenter flick. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but this movie is damn entertaining, which is why, for me, personally, I'm going to give Vampires a solid 8 out of 10. I recommend this movie. Give it a watch. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Vampires. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.